Alright, this video is to help take you through the next couple steps in your project number 1. You can see I have my project number 1 folder here, and up until this point I've asked you to make the template HTML file and the style sheet, styles.css. You should have an images folder with some images in it. So, what does this look like? Well, if we take the template and we put it into our browser, it should look like this. This is what my project looks like. You'll notice that I've got the styling, I've got the background image, I've got a banner picture, I've got a couple of normal pictures, and I've got some text here. So that's the first step, and you should be finished or almost finished with that right now. So what's the next step? Well, the next step is to take the template and to create 2 files from that. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to name one of these files the index.html. And I'm going to name another one of them the level2. Excuse me. Let me get that right. Level2. Now, the second level doesn't have to be called level2.html. You could give it another name, but that's a good name for right now because it makes it clear. The index is the main page, the level 2 are the lower 3 pages. Let me show you how that looks in a sitemap. So this is my sitemap. The top page is the index, and the bottom 3 pages, these are the level 2 pages. So this is the index, this is the level 2. Now I'm not going to make all 3 of these level 2 pages at first. I'm just going to create one of them. The other 2 I'll create later by making copies of this page after I've made the changes, because you want to have different styles for the first level and the second level pages. When you go to a website and you look at the main page, it has a certain style to it. It has certain colors and certain image sizes and certain text layout. But when you go to another level page, it'll usually have a different style to it. That way you can see when you're on a different level. So what we want to do is that we want to create 2 different styles from our template. So as I showed you, I made a copy of the template. Now one of them is called index and the other is called level 2. So I'm going to open both of those up in the browser. There's my index and here's my level 2. So index, level 2. Right now they're identical because really they're just copies of the same file. Then I'm going to go to Komodo Edit. And in Komodo Edit, I'm going to open up the index, make that text a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go to the level 2 and make that text a little bigger too. And so now we have the index and the level 2. Again, the HTML is exactly the same. Now, how do I want to change this? Well, one of the things that will be different from level to level are the types of images used. So for example, I'd want this banner picture to only be on my index page, while I'd want only these smaller pictures to be on my level 2 pages. So that's easy enough. I can go to the index page, and on the index page, I can get rid of the 2 smaller pictures. Just a moment. Get those out of there. There we go. And I'll save that. And so now if I reload, let's see, I'm on this one. Now you can see that I've only got the banner picture. On the other page, I only want the smaller 2 pictures, so I'm going to go to level 2. And on the level 2, I'm going to get rid of that one image right here at the top of the main. That's the banner image. Get rid of that. And so now this page has those images. So here's the index page. And here's a level 2 page. You can already see that there's a difference between them. So that's one way that you can change the appearance of the different levels. You should not change anything about the header except for the colors. You should not change anything about the buttons. Those should stay exactly the same. You should not change the fonts or the font sizes. But what you can do is that you can change the colors, including of the header. Or you could change the photo layout or the text layout. You can change the H3 title, things like that. Now let me show you how to change the background color of the header here. So in my styles, I've got a header rule, and in the header rule, I've got a background color. Now here's my problem. If I change this color, let's say I want to make it a different color. I'm just going to make it a crazy color. I'm going to make it more of a yellow color. If I change the color in the style sheet, it not only changes the index to that color, but it also changes the level 2. All my pages get the same change. I don't want to do that. I want to have one color for my index page, but I'd like to have a different color for my level 2 page. Well, if I've got one style sheet and it only has one header rule with one background color, how can I do that? Well, it turns out that there's a solution. I'm going to go to the index page, and I'm going to go up to the top where it says Body. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a special ID. I'm going to say ID equals index. So now this page, the index.html, has been identified as the name index. I'm going to go to my level 2 page, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Inside the body, I'm going to say ID equals, except this time I'm going to choose a different one. I'm going to say ID equals level 2. I'm going to save that. So now I have two different IDs. The index is called body ID index, and the level 2 is called body ID level 2. So now I can style them differently. I'm going to go back to the style sheet, and here I have the header style that I want for the main page. So I'm going to give that an ID. I'm going to do a descendant selector. I'm going to do hashtag, and then I'm going to do index space header. So this means that only the header inside the index ID is going to have that color. Then I'm going to make a new rule. This one is going to be hashtag level 2 space header, and therefore this rule will only change the style of the header when there's an ID for level 2. So I'm going to put in the background color, and I'm going to give it a slightly darker tone right there. Let's say 230, let's say 180 and 130. I might not really want these colors, but they'll show up as different. And I'm going to want to have the border bottom in there, so I'm just going to copy and paste that. So now I've got the index header and the level 2 header. Both of them are in the same style sheet. So this is because in the index page, the body ID is index, and the header is inside the index ID. In the level 2 page, I have the header, and that's inside the level 2 ID. So now if I go to my pages, this is the index right here, and if I reload, it stays the same because that's the color I want for the index. But if I go to the Ponte page, if I reload, now you'll see it has a much darker color for the background. So index is that color, and the level 2 is that color. Index, level 2. So now you can see a clear difference not just in the images, but also in the color that I used. I could do something else, for example. I could go to the style sheet, and I could make a level 2 wrapper. I could say hashtag level 2, hashtag wrapper. So that means that only something that's inside the wrapper in the level 2 page will have a different background color. And let me make that one, instead of white, I'm going to make that one a little bit beige, 255, 240, and 230. It's a very light, very slight change there. But now if I go to this page, you'll see that I've made a slightly brownish, it's almost pinkish. Let me make it a little bit darker there. Let's try 220. That's a little bit better. So now you can see that there is an even greater change. On the main page, I have light brown and white, and on the level 2 page, I've got the darker brown or the medium brown, and I've got a very, very light brown for the wrapper background. So now you can see a marked difference between those two levels. So I might want to make other changes as well, but like I said, I want to keep the H1 text and size, the H2 text and size, and everything about the buttons. It should be exactly the same on both pages. I shouldn't change any font sizes, but I can change the image layout, the text layout. I can change the colors, and that's perfectly fine. So let's pretend that now I have the styles done correctly. This is how I want my pages to look. I want my level 1 to look like that, and I want my level 2 to look like that. So that's the next step that you're going to be doing. The next step you're going to be doing is creating the index and the level 2 and making sure that they look different. That's your next step. After you finish that, and after I approve your changes, then you're going to do one more thing. You're going to take the level 2 pages, or the level 2 page here, not the index, that's going to stay the way it is. You're going to take the level 2 page and you're going to make copies of it. Now remember, when you made the menu, you made a certain some certain names for those pages: history.html, quirks.html, and tricks.html. I asked you to decide those file names for those pages. So now I'm going to take these copies of my level 2, and I'm going to name one of them history, and one of them is going to be called quirks, and one of them is going to be called tricks. Now some of you already made these pages before, but I don't want you to keep those, because remember, you made different styling choices in the level 2 page, and so that's only going to be in this new file that you made. The other files that you made, if you made those other files before, those don't have the changes, so you've got to get rid of those. And you should only have copies of that original level 2 page that you made. So now I've got all my pages. And now all I have to do is go in and change the text and change the images for each page. I don't want to see anybody with lorem ipsum or other filler text. All of the text should make sense, and all of the text should be different on every single page. So on this step, the next step that you're going to do, after you've made the index and then the 3 other pages, you're going to have to go in, change all the text, change the pictures, make sure every page is different. After you've done that, you'll want to click on the links and make sure that the links work and that you can indeed go to the pages that you need to go to. And then once you've done that, and I've given you the instructions to fix any problems, that'll be the end of project number 1. So I just wanted to show you how to do this so that you can get a start on it right now. Good luck, and I'll see you in class the next time we meet.